This is Dr. Matt Barber of Alabama Orthopedic Clinic. We are proud supporters of Ransom Reprogram, Ransom Ministries, and all of the good work that they do in our community. If you would like to learn more about us, check us out at alortho.com or barbertotaljoint.com. You can also hear more from me personally on the Ortho Real podcast. Thank you again for allowing us to be involved with Ransom Ministries and all of the great work that they do.
Hey, welcome to the Ransom Experience. My name is Matt Armbruster, Executive Director of Ransom Ministries. You're going to hear stories from people that we've served and people that serve alongside us, as well as those that we partner with throughout our community. You're going to hear about decisions they made throughout their life and things that happened through different avenues of their life that caused them to go down a path that they didn't see themselves going. And then also those decisions that they have to make on a daily basis to stay away from those decisions that they made in the past. Ransom Ministries empowers people to utilize their God-given gifts and talents in their career and for their community. All along the way, we learn how to help those close to us and also maybe even help ourselves. This is real. This is raw. This is Ransom.
With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head.
This show is brought to you by Ransom Recycling, your number one choice for electronic recycling in Mobile, Alabama. Help reduce waste in our landfills by recycling all of your unwanted, unused, and non-working electronics. Ransom Recycling is a division of Ransom Ministries that is helping to put men and women back to work. Check out ransomministries.com for a complete list of acceptable items. Drop-offs and pickups can be easily scheduled through the website. Please note that we are not accepting TVs at this time. Ransom Recycling, open 8 to 3 Monday through Friday. Help our planet while helping men and women re-enter the workforce.
With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head.
Hey, welcome to the Ransom Experience, where we talk to people that have been through our program, but also people that we partner with along the way. And today I have Shannon from the Home of Grace, which is one of our partners. It's rehab for women where they go through a lot of things. I'm going to let her kind of explain the things they do there. But it's been a great partnership with ours ever since 2018. We've had, I think I was looking at the numbers the other day, it's like 279 ladies have come through our program, and a lot of them are doing really well through that process. And many of them have been on our podcast and speak very highly of this organization. And I just really wanted to get with her to talk a little bit about what you do and all that. Thanks for joining us, Shannon.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I'm really encouraged by watching you and going through school and your husband, Dustin. I've known him for a long time, and it's been a great opportunity for me and faith building for me to watch you. So tell me a little bit about the Home of Grace and kind of your role and all that in it.
Yeah, so the Home of Grace is a super special organization here in Mobile. If you're from Mobile, local, I'm sure you've probably heard of Doris Littleton, the founder, director of the Home of Grace. She'll be celebrating her 95th birthday this year. She's just an angel on earth for sure, but she started taking women in her home in Saraland almost 50 years ago and just had a heart and a passion for women that were addicted to substances. Back then it was mostly alcohol and benzos or Quaaludes, and things have definitely changed through the years with that. But she just had a heart for women because there was nowhere that would take a woman at the time. It was so stigmatized, women that had substance abuse issues at that time, and no one wanted to help them. So, and through the years, she's just evolved her program into what we are today out here in 8 Mile, Alabama, near Chickasaw Park. And we have flourishing program we house over 50 clients and have opportunities for transitional living out here. And it's just a really special place and special thing that she does. But I became connected with the Home of Grace in 2013 when I actually came through the program as a client, and had gotten into some legal trouble and found myself through the court systems, facing either, do some time in jail or go get some rehabilitation. And I'm so thankful that that was the path that led me here to the Home of Grace. And I just stuck around and started working as a house mother, and through the years began training as a counselor and went through the certification process to get my drug and alcohol counseling credentials. And so that's what I do out here now is a drug and alcohol counselor.
Wow. And it's cool because, like, looking at you now, I would never know that you were a client at one time, because you're very professional. The women totally respect you, and I see that. And I think it's because you're very truthful with them. And and a lot of times when we're dealing with people in addiction or criminal activity or whatever, they're looking for someone to tell them the truth.
Right.
And I think that that's what I see in you, and what they say a lot of times is that about you. So now that you're in this field, you were actually on the other side. You went through the program. Of course, Miss Doris has been a champion of faith for me as well through this whole thing. And I'll never forget the time I was like, man, I think we need to tie this together and bring, the ladies to Ransom and go through reprogram. And so I called him, I asked for a meeting with Miss Doris, and I was so intimidated. I was like, this lady's 90-some years old. She's been doing this forever, and I'm here to tell her what I think we need to do. And it's like, we get there, and she's very open to it. Yeah. And I feel like it's been a great partnership for us, as well as for y'all. But what are some of the most what frustrates you through this process? Because I know, being in ministry like I am, there's days where it's just like, what am I doing? So tell me some times when that has come up, or if it has, maybe it hasn't.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely can be a difficult field to work in. If you look at the statistics on paper for addiction and recovery rates, I mean, they're not great. The odds are usually stacked against the women and the clients that we work with. And so we see a lot of people maybe not make it. And of course, now with the drugs that are out there, overdose is such a common reality, whereas in the past years, it wasn't such a pressing thing. I mean, it's always been a risk of drug use, but now it's just very, very critical, the risk of overdose. And so, the reality of this field is that you're dealing with life and death. And so we try to instill that into the ladies, like, this is serious. This is life and death. You're not just here for 90 days. Bidding your time or at Bible camp or anything like that. This is a fight for your life. And it's very rewarding when you see that light come on in their eyes and they really get it and grab a hold of that. But it can be definitely frustrating, as well as extremely heartbreaking when you see people just not quite getting the severity of it and going back out there and having consequences as a result of that, when you know that there's such a better way.
Yeah. And that's the frustrating part, is because you're looking at it from 3,000 feet, looking and seeing, oh, don't do that. Don't make that move because it's not going to be good. So what do you think, like, when you went through it in 2013, what clicked for you? Because was that your first rehab you ever went to? It
was my first rehab.
Wow. That, I talked to one yesterday, and she was like, this was like her 9th one, So what made it click for you during that time?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't at first, that's for sure. It took a while for the fog to lift and for the reality of where I was heading and what my life, the things that I've done. I had just graduated from nursing school with a degree as a registered nurse, but had now got myself into those legal problems, and the nursing and legal problems and drug addiction really don't mix. And so I was having to kind of grieve over the things that I had done and what I had cost my future as a result of choices that I made, but it did not click at first. I was angry and angry at myself, angry at God, did not want to be in treatment, was frustrated that I was forced to be there through the court system, but also at the same hand did not want to have to go do time in jail. But it was definitely a process. I think, God, I came to the Home of Grace just very uncertain about faith and a little bit frustrated at being in a faith-based program, and that wasn't clicking with me in the beginning. But it was, the Holy Spirit was very gentle with me. God was gentle with me. I had a great counselor who actually was a psychiatric RN for many years. She's retired now, Miss Harriet, but she really met me at the level that I was at and challenged me to think about things differently, and just was really instrumental in changing the way I thought about things. And it was definitely a process. I ended up extending my program by a month. Typically it's a 90-day program, but I did 120 days voluntarily and at the advice of my counselor. And I think it was that last month, really, things just started making sense. And I was just like, I don't have to live the way that I was living anymore. I don't have to go back out there and keep beating my head against this wall with this addiction. There's a better way, and I have purpose, and I wanted to experience that. And so, it was a great counselor, the work of the Holy Spirit, the teachers, it was definitely a cumulative effort for sure to get things to start clicking with me. But once I tasted it and got a hold of it and just a little taste of it, I wanted more, wanted a different life.
And that's you said you had the RN degree and all that because you always obviously had a heart for helping people, because you wouldn't have been an RN if you weren't. My mom was an RN, so I know about that. But so as you got into it, first of all, Miss Harriet's amazing, and she really moved you and really took what you said was she took her time with you, and she let you kind of met you where you were. And it's kind of cool now seeing you pretty much do that with the ladies that you deal with. And I think it means a lot to them, but also it's that process, because the Bible says that God will take those bad things and turn them into good. So the bad things you had went through, whether it be the drug addiction and the legal issues and all that, have really turned around because you wouldn't have been at the Home of Grace. You wouldn't have met Miss Harriet. She instilled in you a way of counseling that is very, is very useful, but also successful in getting these ladies to where they go. So I think that's awesome to look at, and awesome to kind of look at their lives, and that you can say to these ladies that come through that, hey, it's not over just because you're here, just because it's not over. This is just the beginning. And really, I know you're going to Alabama now and getting another degree and all these. I mean, you make me feel stupid sometimes because I never even finished college, but I probably should have. So let's move forward to 2018. So you're with them now, and we're starting this relationship with Ransom Reprogram, where we're going to actually become kind of part of the 90 days program, where they would come the last month and they would come and go through 2-hour classes Monday through Friday. How has that been, that relationship for y'all? Because I know how it's been for me, but how's it been for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a huge blessing to the Home of Grace and to our women here. I have never, since that time, I've not met one woman here that did not love Ransom and was not totally thrilled. Sometimes it's hard to explain. So they're like, what is Ransom? And we try to explain before they start, but it's like, no, but you just can't put into words exactly what it is. And then, so there may be some apprehension before they start of what am I getting myself into? But I've never heard anybody say anything negative about their experience at Ransom or share that it wasn't extremely beneficial for them and for getting them ready for. It's so good because it's that last month of the program and it just so gets them prepared and equipped and ready to graduate and to leave. And I mean, it has just been been so great for our women and such a great partnership. And I know when that idea first came around, I know myself and Valerie McKinley, one of the other counselors, we just were so praying, like, let this work out. And we looked at our schedule, and we're already a totally full program, and we didn't know how it was going to be incorporated and how we were going to shift things around. But I know several of us just really, that had been familiar with Ransom prior, we just really believed that we've got to make this work somehow, because we knew our ladies needed it, and it's been great.
Yeah, and you and Valerie have been a very good advocate for what we're doing, and Kim and all them over there, and I do appreciate that, because I do believe that it's a part of what they need to kind of step out of that bubble, I guess, of being, learning the word and some other things. What are some other programs? First of all, I'm going to jump to that, but what are some other programs that they learn? What are some other things that y'all teach during their 90 days with you?
So, oh gosh, they have a full schedule out here, but they, some of our core classes would be like addiction classes, where we just really teach them some factual information about addiction and different types of substances. We talk a lot about relapse and relapse prevention, triggers, things like that. We do coping skills, boundaries, and talk about healthy relationships. We do an anger management class. They do parenting. Lots of different Bible studies and Bible application type classes. They do fine arts classes, where they do different types of crafts and make bracelets and coloring and different things like that to kind of get their creative side going again. But they have a pretty busy schedule out here for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed. Like when I go to the graduations, they get certificates for different things, might be anger management and things like that. And that cognitive therapy, we kind of do that here as well, which I think is, the craft stuff and all that. It's just something to get them out of their mind, out of their head, because that's the biggest thing. They got to understand that they're fearfully and wonderfully made, and they're made with a purpose, and God created them for that purpose. But a lot of them have, not that thought about themselves, because like you said, you're embarrassed, you're whatever, and it's hard to get over that. We were just having a circle time this morning where we get together every morning with our recycling students. And they were talking about that, because we just had one of our guys kind of make the wrong choice and go do something he shouldn't have. And so it really hurt my group, they're hurt by that. But we talked about it, and we talked about, well, why do you think we don't communicate? Why don't you think that he would share that with us before the fact instead of after the fact? And they were talking a lot about embarrassment and feeling bad about themselves. And so we got to work through that. And I think a lot of these classes that you all do there are great for that, because it's teaching them triggers. It's teaching them the signs of relapse and all the boundaries that we have to surround ourselves by good people, and the right people instead of, some of our old people. But I think that what I see through your ladies, and when they come in here, is that they're like, when they get here the last month, they're like sponges, and they just want to learn. They want to learn what's going on. And I was talking to Catherine, and I said, what'd you think about the first day you were here? And she goes, I didn't think I needed this. And I'm like, she said, I thought I had all that figured out. And she realized, hey, none of us have it figured out, and you got to work through those things, and you got to so anyway, seeing her and all the ladies that have moved on to Rouse's and different jobs and doing really well. And then seeing Catherine move into wanting to do the same thing pretty much you're doing, and I think a lot of that is her respect for you, but also just you being the role model that they needed. And so I think that's a big part of it. So as we kind of close up here and kind of move on, is there anything that you would like to tell people maybe in ministry? And, being in ministry, it's hard to get other ministries to partner with you. I know I have a problem. I don't know if y'all have a problem. Y'all been around for a long time, but just that, I don't know, territorial thing that goes on in ministry. And it's a frustrating thing, because we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to get people closer to Jesus and be there, their spiritual side, but also just be who they were intended to be. So what are some things you could tell other organizations about like our partnership as being, you already said it was good. So I guess what I want you to kind of tell them is, hey, it's okay to be that, and then also what would you tell someone out there that's just struggling with who they are?
Yeah. So I think it's super important to stay open-minded in ministry. When we first partnered with Ransom, it looked like there was no possible way that we were going to be able to fit something like that into our schedule. But just I'm thankful for Miss Littleton's open-mindedness and willingness to partner with something like that, because it just has been such a blessing and great partnership with our ministry that we would have missed out on. Not us, our ladies, because that's what it's about. It's about the clients, and it's about those that we're called to help out, that they would have missed out on if we just had written it off and said, oh, we don't have time for this, or we already have a good program and we have all these classes, so we don't need this. There would have been such a loss that we would have experienced with that mindset. So I think just kind of staying open-minded and knowing that that partnership is a blessing, and we, Home of Grace, I mean, I may be biased because I work here and I went through here, and we are a great program, but there's always things that we can do better and that we can learn from one another. And so just kind of staying in that mindset that hey, these other ministries or these other organizations, they may have things to offer or services that could be beneficial again for the clients. And really just remembering that we're all on the same team. I don't have to agree with everything another ministry or organization does, but we are at the end of the day still on the same team, and we're doing kingdom work, and we're trying to help people, and that's what it's all about. And so really just keeping that open mind and willingness to explore other options and think outside of the box too, and think creatively rather than just shooting something down off of the cuff, because we could definitely miss out on a lot if we do that. But I would tell people that may be struggling, that there is hope, and there people do change, and that's something that's big. I know in recovery there's hashtag we do recover and different things like that, and it may not even be just recovery from drug abuse or alcohol abuse, substance abuse, but people do change and people evolve, and it takes programs and it takes tools, just like you mentioned, the cognitive behavior and the boundaries and all of those things that your ministry offers and that we do out here. People need tools to be able to change, but there is hope for change, and it is possible for people to change and not be the same that they were. But sometimes people just need a little bit of help along the way, and I think that's the heart that we have, and I know that's the heart that y'all have too.
And that is a great thing, is that the partnership, I know that when they come out here, and I learn a lot from what you guys do as well. And I think we're always got to be open. We're never, just like I said earlier, none of us have it all figured out. Yeah. And we need to work together to do that. And I do appreciate all that the Home of Grace does for the ladies in this area and all over. If you have anyone out there struggling, any lady out there in your life that's struggling, this is the place they need to come, because I've seen such great success through the ladies there and through the staff. And I will always advocate for you guys. And I appreciate you taking some time out of your Friday to come and hang out and talk with me. And I do appreciate all that you do. And I'm praying for you and Dustin and all your family and what's going on. But most of all, I just wish you well, and pray for your ministry every single day. And we'll just go from there. And again, I thank you for our partnership. Yes. I thank you for what Home of Grace does for us.
Amen. Well, I thank you too, Matt. It was definitely an honor.
Well, thank you all for joining us today with Shannon on the Ransom Experience. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got as much out of it as I did, even with all my rambling and talking like that. But y'all are used to that. You've been listening to me every week. So I appreciate you tuning in. Please share it with your friends, subscribe, hit the like button, all those different things that you can do. Follow us on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, all those funny things, and go to www.ransomministries.com to see more about what we do, and check out Home of Grace as well on their social medias and their website. And we appreciate you being here, and until then, we'll see you next week.
Too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight.